Hey y'all, Becky here with the Glitter Ranch. Gonna do a little cup today. Gonna do a geode cup. Let me get my Mod Podge open here. Sorry about that. Okay, I frequently like to tint my Mod Podge. Actually, I'm gonna do a decent amount of this because I've got two different ones I'm gonna do. I'm just using matte Mod Podge. I'm not real particular. As far as, I know they have different varieties of it, but this is the one that I'm using. Okay, my rose gold that I'm gonna do to be complementary to my rose gold glitters that I'm doing is going to be Deco Art Metallic Rose Gold. So you can see the color of it there. There's the label. Okay, give this a little shake. I already have my Mod Podge. Again, there's not an exact amount. I'm not a scientist by far. Let me get this. You never can get those little things to tear off when you need to. You pick it up in the store and you look at it and they want to come off, but when you want them off, they don't. Okay. I try not to do a whole lot of paint in there because it really does change the consistency. Just enough to get it the color that I'm wanting. And what I'm going to do is, this is just going to be my base for my glitter. I just like to tint my Mod Podge, like I say, just to give it a little more base underneath my glitter to just coverage wise. Okay. I just don't want it that stark white. Actually, I think that's pretty good. Alrighty. Okay, so my pattern, some people I have seen where they go ahead and paint their color on. I am going to paint my glue and go right for it with my glitter. That is up to you how you want to do that. Again, I'm more of a fly by the seat. Now I will end up carrying this pattern over. I'm not going to right now, so I can set my cup to, no, never mind. We'll just do it. We'll just get crazy. I have done it in the past where I've come back and done the bottom later, but I'll just get crazy and just do it now because it is handy when you can set the cup down, right? Not have to worry about messing anything up. Okay, so this will be the middle of my geode, so that's why I don't really want it exactly straight there. Up to you on that. And actually on this first one, I'm going to do a chunky. So should be interesting. I've not done a chunky on my geode like this before, but just living it up, acting a little crazy here. All of these glitters I'm going to use, you can find on the site. I really love our chunkies. They really have a lot of fine and ultra fine in there, which is fantastic for your coverage. On my chunkies, I like to, a lot of times, you know, if the cups on your turner going one way, if you flip it the other way, it's almost like you give those chunkies another opportunity to find their little niche where they need to go. Because sometimes those chunkies will run block and you can get those fine in there. Hope that makes sense. But that's a pretty good coverage. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and also work it from the other side. So again, just taking my tinted glue and just kind of creating that first little divot of what's going to be my geode. Doesn't need to be exact. Definitely want to get it right up to the rim. Okay, so there's no, I'm sure there's some pattern you could print off, you know, to visually look at that, to kind of give you an eye, you know, an idea. Or like I said, I have seen people take acrylics and go ahead and just paint the colors on there of what they're going to do, just to kind of give them like a legend to go by. I'm a little too reckless in my way of crafting to do that. You know those suckers, you're gonna have to sand those off later if you don't fix that now. So, all right, we're good on that, I think. Maybe just one more dash. Okay. All right. Pretty happy with that. I'm gonna stick the rest of this back in the bowl. Tap this down first. Later I'm going to put the same color in a fine on, just for my center of my little geode. I wanted to have a little bit more pop, so that's why I did that. Okay, for my next trick, I'm gonna go blue. Wipe off some of my Mod Podge here. Move this gold over here. Okay, for my blue, I already have my Mod Podge mixed from another blue. Does not have to be exact by any means. Okay, because you saw that that first that I used, the glitter, the Mod Podge mix, the colored mix that I used, and then I used this glitter. So it was fine. You know, it looks beautiful over. Again, you're just trying to get a little bit of a base coverage. Same theory of you base coating white, okay? So I have a blue, it's just a blue. Our school colors are blue. I'm wearing blue. I do a lot of blue. So doesn't have to be an exact match by any means. Ton of blue on me. Okay, so for this particular one, that's the next color. The customer sent me something that they had seen that they liked, and these were the colors in it. So that is the reason for the colors that I'm using. And I'm trying to kind of make it, oh, that's better. I'm using kind of the, okay, so now I'm using, that gives me more of a look that I want for this cup. So instead of painting the brush flat, I've got it turned on side there. That's giving me a rougher edge, and that's really what I want for this type cup. You can, if you wanted, to spray seal in between these layers just to kind of help also keep them from getting muddy. You can. I'm going to try and be pretty precautious about not mixing when I put this blue on. We'll see. So that last gold that I used was chunky rose gold. This is Patriotic. Let's try and really just concentrate on that line, and hopefully I use that bigger one. There we go. You really can do these in any color. Like I said, this customer picked this color, these colors. I've got a green, and then the fine rose gold, and then a gold. So might look a little crazy at the moment. Honestly, the geodes tend to look a little crazy until you get them done anyway. I'm just gonna flick off some of that extra that wanted to static onto the cup. Okay, so that's where we are. I'll go ahead and get this top one in as well. And I'm just trying to really butt up to it. Not really go over it, but just kind of butt up to it. I'm trying not to do it too straight, to do it a little more natural-ish looking. I mean, certainly these colors, it's not about, you know, it looking like it's a true rock formation. It's more about, you know, the colors that the customer, you know, likes. I'm trying to look for a good place to be able to hold it. Probably would work a little better if I had, you know, the football, the noodle, the sponge on it, but I didn't grab that. So you get what you get. Okay, so just trying to be mindful of what's going on with the other glitter so we don't cross-contaminate any more than we absolutely have to. Oh yeah, pretty happy with that. Okay, so that's where we are. Coming along pretty swell. I will pre-mix my Mod Podge, like I said, with my acrylics, and then I just keep them in little Tupperwares. Works real good for me. So that way, it doesn't take very much, certainly, to do a cup. That way I've already got that rounded up and waiting for my next cup. My green, I didn't have pre-mix, so I'm going to get that. It's a pink glitter. Oh, it's stuck on the outside of my cup. That's funny. Actually, I have another one I'm going to do in a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and get it ready, because you don't want to leave your main Mod Podge just sitting open, drying out. Is the reason, so I'm going to go ahead and I use a little bit bigger cup to kind of cap off my medicine cups sometimes. Ooh, that's a pretty color. It's super pretty. All right. So this next color we're going to use is Shipwreck. Oh, the teal color that I used is Laguna. It's Apple Barrel, Walmart, y'all. I just, when I have acrylics go on sale, get you some. Start with my upper one this time. I might try and go, a little different, a little wider. A wider pattern on this one. Move back. The blues and greens together like that always make me think kind of peacock look. And after these others are dried, as you're moving on to the next one, it's okay if you go over a little bit, because it really should just tap right out. That's where we are on that. Then you can come back in with your paint pens to do some lines, and we'll do that here after we get a layer of epoxy going on. After I get done with all of these, then I will put spray sealer and then epoxy. My hand's starting to sweat inside this cup. Okay, so just kind of trying to do a little kind of variety, so it's just not so sharp on the edges. Just trying to give it, again, just a little more realistic type of random, instead of just being so straight. I'm digging it. I'm digging it so far. It's coming along. A little bit of rose. Little rose gold jumped off in there. Must have tapped too hard. Sorry y'all, I do not like contaminated glitter. I mean, it has a place in another jar. So if it's just like a onesie twosie that I can pick out, I do. Otherwise, I have to go to the contaminated pile. Right, we're gonna go back to the rose gold, but it's going to be a thin layer this time and in fine rather than the chunky. I think I'm going to I'm gonna run and throw a clear coat on this really quick. And I'm gonna let it set about 10 minutes, then we'll come back and do the next little layer. That's where we are. Okay, so I did run in clear coat, and I also did get an arm here, extra arm. Okay, so my next color, I'm gonna do the rose gold, but in a fine metallic. I think I want to switch brushes. Maybe do a little bit smaller brush. This other brush that I was using was a little bit wider. Sorry, I'm having a hard time holding them. There, see? A little skinnier. Just going just a smidge over the edge in a couple of spots. And just to try and make it not look so prim and proper. Just trying to muddy it up a little bit. I think I want it to venture out a little here. Mosquito trying to get in on the cup. Can even try it a little bit here too. Alright. Sorry, I haven't taken my lid off yet. Alright. A little more room. Trying to stay in the camera frame. Why that's harder than it looks, I don't know. Sometimes it really is. You'll see it really does fall off nicely from the glitter that it might have jumped over onto especially when you throw a clear coat on, then it's got less opportunity to really get in there and nestle down. That clear coat just kind of adds a little barrier. Okay. Coming together, it's coming together. I really like this jagged edge. It's not going to be quite as jagged once I go in with this other color for sure. But I really like that. I'll try and keep it all I can. A little extra, not on those corners. Sometimes your corners really need a little extra. Okay. Now let's get to it before that dries. You can, if you didn't get enough coverage, you can always spot, you know, reapply, use some Mod Podge and then come back in with glitter. Or honestly, if you didn't like how, you know, the color looked once you got it on, because sometimes they really do look different in your head than they do on the cup, then you can always come back in over it. I mean, I wouldn't make a huge transition, but like, you know, you could always, it would be a lot easier to, you know, go in with a darker shade of something if needed be. I'll let that alone for just a minute. And I'm going to work on this part that's already dry. Just kind of brushing it. I typically, oh here, I was going to say I typically try and get like just the, it's got black on it just because I didn't wash it good when I was doing it, but just like a chip type of brush, just to kind of move some of those stray glitters around sometimes. Sometimes it looks a little better if it's a bigger, kind of airier brush. I don't like that one is getting a stray hair. Anyway, we'll go back to it. And the Mod Podge dries relatively fast, so you don't really have to wait in between layers unless you want to. Kind of want a softer brush to gently. Got a couple that aren't wanting to cooperate. They're just kind of wanting to static on here, so that's what I was trying to work at, getting those loners moved out of the way. think maybe that clear coat wasn't as dry as I thought it was. But I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit extra going on over there. It's fine, because like I said, we're gonna put, we still have another color to go. So we'll do our cleanup here in a minute. Okay, I've got my turner arm that I put that up on just to give me the extra arm that I need to get this glitter back in the bowl. Okay, so it's a rose gold metallic. Now I'm going to do the gold. The gold that I'm using is Folk Art Metallic. It's just pure gold. Ooh, it is very gold. Yikes. It is very gold. Which I think will be great underneath our gold glitter. Your Mod Podge dries clear, so you can totally just use your Mod Podge. You don't have to tin it at all. Sometimes I give myself more to do with no reason, but it's just how I do. All right, here we go for our last little vein of what to do. What size brush? Maybe I'll just go with this. I'll go with this bigger one. Okay, so there is a little bit of blue-green coming off my brush. That's okay, because we're going to glitter over it. I'm not real worried about that at all. Kind of like how it took up the whole bottom. That is not something I really meant to do, but I do like how it's really coming over to the other side. It's kind of fun. I'm just going back and trying to muddy it up a little bit. All right, now the gold that I'm using is Vacay. It is fine metallic. Such a pretty color. I use this color a lot. We have it in the holographic, fine and chunky. It's just such a nice neutral, not too much gold, yet it's got enough. We have bubbly that's a shade lighter. Definitely more neutral than this, but this makes like a great sand color. Yeets. Didn't mean to. I got right in there in that Mod Podge. Actually, I'm gonna let it dry a little more, and I'm gonna clean that up. I'll see where I've nicked it just a smidge. So don't worry, we will fix it. I'm gonna go ahead and do this top one, and then I'll come back to that, let it dry just a little more. And this will be our last ring of color. And then we'll come in and do white on the rest. I don't know if y'all can hear Rose in the back squawking, and Mama Turkey, the neighbors. Big old bunch right there. Big old bunch right there. Okay. Pretty happy with that one. It's trying to get evening time, and the birds want to do a lot of extra squawking in the morning and in the evening. All right, let me go back to that spot there. And just like that, it's done. So y'all don't, get caught up in it being perfect, because it's not gonna be, not if you're hand making it. It's very hard for my brain to let things go and not be perfect, but they're not, and that's kind of some of the charm of homemade, is you can have a beautiful product and be very proud of your work and it not be perfect. Okay, so after this, I'm going to go ahead and clear coat a couple of times, because I do not want this glitter bleeding into my white, because that will be the last thing that we do on this cup. So that's where we are. Okay, you don't have to do your rock formation things that big. You can do them bigger, you can do them smaller, you can do just one side. I like to do the top and the bottom. I just think visually that way, it's more of a work of art all the way around. I've never done one where it came over the bottom this far. I always let it peep over, but I really like how this has come out. I'm pleased with that. So, like I said, I'm gonna let this dry a few more minutes, let that Mod Podge get real nice and dry, and then clear coat it.